Today, we have two frontline workers to help us with today's broadcast. And my name is Micheline Taka.
I'm Dr. Gbc Blankson.
And I am Superintendent Sheila Kese Abiyi Bachman.
To help us with the sign language interpretation is Jonathan in Team Darko. Now the news in detail.
Ghana has recorded 262 new COVID-19 infections, bringing the tally to 11,118. According to the Ghana Health Service, 58 more persons have recovered, as the new figure in that regard increases to 3,979. No new deaths have been recorded since the initial 48. This means the country's active cases have climbed up by 204 to 7,091. Greater Accra region still leads with the highest number of cases, 6,888. Followed by the Ashanti region with 1,989 cases.
Here is a regional breakdown. In Greater Accra region, we have 6,888. Ashanti region, 1,989. Western region has 909. Central region, 584. The Volta region has 212. Eastern region, 204. Upper East region 128, Western North region 79, Aite region 48, the Northern region has 37, Upper West region has 22, the Blue region has 13, Northern region has recorded 2 cases, Savannah regions, Blue region and Ahafo region have all recorded 1 case each.
All over the world, the search for an alternative, preferably herbs or plant medicine, to treat the coronavirus is growing as the global health body, the WHO, is yet to approve any tested drug efficacious enough for use as a vaccine. Many welcomed the Malagasy herbal mixture as a possible panacea to perhaps explore an organic solution to COVID-19. Our reporter, Clara Mlano, went to Mampon's Center for Plant Medicine
Research in the Eastern region in search of the African solution to COVID-19. Scientists there are upbeat of finalizing a local remedy to manage or treat the novel coronavirus, possibly before the end of 2020.
In the Arboretum are endless species and varieties of plants or trees. Interesting botanical names: Pseudium guajava, Kaya senegalesis, Bridelia, among others, cure different diseases. Then are the farms, managed by the Plant Development Department of the Center for Plant Medicine Research. Every part of the plant has a vital purpose in medicine. Talk of the shrubs, leaves or bark. These plants find application for the treatment of diabetes, hypertension, pain relief, diarrhea, rheumatism, thrush, and even as a contraceptive.
The genesis of the whole thing is that if you have interest in the plant, after research we are told that this plant is very good for this property. What we do is that we have to look for that plant. Where can we find it in abundance? Their natural environment, because the plants are already growing in their natural environment before we discover them. So we have to go and search for them for the first time. Then we get it. When we get it, we nurse, we plant it in our arboretum. Our various arboreta, we nurse them, and then subsequently we can get the seeds from there. But for the first time, if you don't have the seeds available, the plant available, you have to go to the wild and search for it, because they are there in abundance in the wild.
Even without the consent of health authorities, many are already brewing herbs and mixing concoctions as immune boosters while waiting for a prophylactic treatment or possible cure for the coronavirus. Reason being, there are many Ghanaians who will only use traditional medicine to treat any ailment.
The danger is this: here we research into the plant, the parts to use, the concentration, and how they boil it, the time it takes, and after doing it, we have an animal house where they test the medicine on the animals to see whether it's good or not. But if I show you that go and use this plant to prepare a concoction, you may not know the right concentration, and you don't know whether it is toxic to your health or not. As immune booster, we have Enterica product. Enterica we have Asmodium, which we've been using even before the arrival of the COVID-19. So those of us who know, we consume this Enterica, Asmodium, and other things.
Hypertension, diabetes, urinary tract infection, typhoid and malaria top the list of ailments reported and treated at the facility during the 2019 year under review. Some of these are the underlying causes of death or comorbidity for COVID-19 patients, according to the Ghana Health Service. Some products manufactured here already treat some of these symptoms of the coronavirus, but will that pass as a cure or help manage the virus? I made my way to the labs, which I'm told had been very busy since Ghana recorded her first case. Loads of samples of traditional medicine are in line awaiting testing at the center's microbiology laboratory.
So that if there's some germ out here, will not enter. So the fire will kill it before this. And this is cotton swab, it's sterile already. So you can just pick some from here, or you can also transfer into a tube and diabetes. And then basically just spread it. This product cannot be used for anything again. It has to be thrown out, properly disposed of. These plates have been inoculated to identify any germ in them, especially bacteria that can grow on this media. So this PC will allow all germs to grow on it, and this will allow only E. coli to grow on it. So we call it selective media. After here, we culture them, we put them in incubator at 37 degrees Celsius. If we had done any, that was to identify least and most in it, they would have kept it in at room temperatures.
9 of these have already checked the boxes and had been recommended to the Ghana Health Service as immune boosters to treat and manage the coronavirus. And so I asked what assessors look out for a particular sample to pass for test as an immune booster.
Well, the management of COVID is a bit technical. One, we are looking for management of the symptoms, some of the common symptoms, and two, we are looking for the treatment, and that's efficacy test, which is very difficult at this moment for any lab to conduct. However, studies are ongoing in all various research labs, and sooner or later they may come out with something just like us, with something. Even the culturing system of the pathogen for you even to test the sample is a bit dicey. We are now developing. However, we look out for the products that can be used to help the body to fight against the germ or the COVID germ. That's what basically we look out for. So apart from looking at the microbial quality, whether it's contaminated or not, we also look at some of the something, for example, cough. The virus can give you cough, or even some bacteria can give you cough, or your blood level is low. We look out for something that will help your blood level to go up. We look out for something that will generally make you healthy. People say immune booster, but it's also a bit dicey. We don't have protocol now to test for something that we would say immune booster or something that supports the immune system. It's basically based on traditional uses. So we're also developing protocols that can test for parameters regarding immune product that can support the immune functions.
So between March and now, how many of such products have you tested?
We have analyzed more than close to 200 samples.
Wow.
And people, have brought them, have analyzed them. And some of them are very good, some of them are roughly, yes.
Aside these, critical to the assessors is the biological activity of the medicinal plant used in the formation, the traditional uses of the plant's constituents, and microbial load analysis of relevant products. What the world awaits now is a solution, be it orthodox or traditional, and scientists say they are conferring and believe a Ghanaian solution is near.
Hopefully it wouldn't take long. We would come out with a product to support the immune function, not only in the case of COVID-19, but any conditions that has effect on the immune system. So we selected certain medicinal plants with known effect on the immune function, yes. And we are studying them, looking at the science and the activity. We have formulated about 2 into products, and we are still studying its effect. We are yet to do what we call immunomodulatory study on those products.
There are 25 products on the shelves of the center now, with the top 5 being Asena, Nimbima, Tonica, Euro 500 and Enterica. The center believes a little push and retooling will speed up the response to researching and producing an appropriate alternative medication for pandemics such as the coronavirus.
We are nowhere near what we are supposed to be doing.
How do we get there?
We need a lot of resources. Like I said, the research building complex, equipment, reagents, consumables. It makes you work faster. If you don't have, everything is slow, you would have to struggle to get one thing done.
After this detailed excursion, I left Mampong upbeat about the capabilities of the scientists. Even though the herbal mixture at the center is still at the teething stages as a potential treatment for COVID-19, I am holding the scientists here to their word that by the end of 2020, there will be a breakthrough medication to manage the virus. For Gbc.
There are suggestions for sanctions to be applied to get people to adhere to the anti-COVID-19 measures in the Sunyani West District. This is because, despite all the education on the critical need for the measures like wearing of face mask, social distancing, and increased hand hygiene, some people are still not adhering to the safety protocols. Correspondent John Sam Arthur reports that majority of people in some of the towns visited were not in face mask and only scrambled to wear them when they spotted the Gbc News cameras.
At the Sunyani West District Assembly premises, where we are trying to talk to the leaders of the response, we spoke to the District Chief Executive, Martin Obeng, and among others, he is telling us that it's just like some people are being recalcitrant when it comes to adhering to the safety protocols, and now the time has come to apply sanctions.
I don't actually believe that it's for education. It's just that the people don't want to comply, because you meet highly educated people, lawyers, even some in medical field, and they are not obeying the laws. So I don't think it's education. It's just that people just don't want to obey. So for instance, yesterday I met the management and COVID reps also were around. We decided that henceforth, when we get you disobeying the protocols, especially churches and the bars and the rest, we bought padlocks for them. We will lock down the church or the bar. When you come for it, we will give it to you, but you pay a fine.
The last time we did enhance surveillance, trying to take samples from the communities just randomly. We did 116. We took 116 samples and all were negative. But compared to the population of about 108,000, this is not enough.
Okay, dear, Montpellier, dear Bukam, Yangina, Yanshana, dear Moa. They do Babia, Nesha, who's the way no about the 2 coin, and Yadi of Mediterranean. And you do Babia, Refugee. Master Yerina, and do our effort, do our shot, a decent house, open and a car, and a big from up from if you are national at anything national. Yes, I mean, the mission.
But what I know is that sanitizing and PPEs now the abando a bit more was from the coronavirus pandemic. But right now, see that like we are always concentrating on mask and sanitizer. To see Madam, you are like just advocating. Water the other now, Madam, sanitizer, like as I saw water, the cocoa to say, one also catches or to say, the amount of Wakasa. Sarah will be to make out to a day so. Would you only be so protected? But last one, no, coronavirus. So we have to, like, MP, you say, this be as you MP, you say, not sanitize and PPEs in one bit of my but say yes, yeah, my Yaduna one, you might do fast, a bit of my
okay, Tibianuma, say a cost of the but only say, Nipabia, Obebo, by free, say, you know, Obeo, Sa, Obebo Max, aha, and no bit my boama, not be also separation, no so, a bois, aha, and he say, evening, you diso, said the Beba, Yadiano. Intim tretrem kwa chiri bebre
okay tuna myself di bibi tarawan na fe ko ni pam so a ese hu se bi tarawan na fe sanitizer no so ba ko won sa se be ya wonya bi.
COVID-19 has disrupted many sectors of social life, with most of the world's students now at home due to COVID-19. Online learning is what institutions are resorting to keep up with the curriculum. With an internet connection now at the click of a button, education is continuing unabated. Gbc News takes a look at how schools are surviving in the wake of the spreading coronavirus.
By 24th May 2020, approximately 1.725 billion students were affected by school closures due to the coronavirus. According to UNICEF's monitoring, 184 countries are implementing school closures, impacting about 98.6% of the world's student population. On the other hand, several tertiary institutions, especially the private ones, are struggling to survive. In response to school closures, the UN Education and Cultural Agency UNESCO is recommending the use of distance learning programs and open educational applications and platforms that schools and teachers can use to reach learners remotely and limit the disruption of education. More than 6 million students worldwide are registered for online courses as part of their higher education program.
For a switch to online, putting all our programs, both the open university programs and the regular programs on online, using the online technologies which we have developed over the past 10 years was not a problem at all. A new software have come on board, we have deployed them, we have to register our students on a number of other systems. So those are the things we did. For every class, we take a survey of the students.
And the surge of the pandemic in the country is causing anxiety among students and teachers that despite the reopening of schools for final year students, some universities are opting to continue with the online module of education.
Our students are not coming back to school. Per the advice of our Health and Safety Committee, it is still very risky to bring our students, especially when we have technological systems that can run all the exams that the students are coming to do here physically. We have about 300 final year students. We bring all of them to campus to write exam, and then if you are not lucky and one of them contracts it, you don't know, it may spread to all your students.
For many, online learning is likely to stay with us even post-COVID-19.
We think that this is here to stay in some form. So I think it's important for other universities to catch up. It's COVID today, tomorrow it will be something else.
600 new commissioners for oath have been sworn in by the Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Enini Yeboah. The Chief Justice charged them not to sell short their integrity or compromise their training by allowing any breaches.
This is the second batch of commissioners for oath commissioned in the last 2 years. The first batch was in November 2018. Their duties include preparation of affidavits for persons to authenticate their status. Their recruitment and training comes in the wake of registration of persons by the National Identification Authority.
When you get to the registration center, you must envision the person you respect the most in this country. And imagine that that is the person sitting before you whenever a Ghanaian appears before you. I ask you to sit up. I ask you to smile at the Ghanaian. I ask you to listen to Ghanaians properly. I ask you to ask important probing questions. I request that you nod in appreciation, in acknowledgement of what it is that is being transmitted to you in the discharge of your duties. And finally, I ask that you track with your eyes, that you focus on the mission.
Training of the new commissioners was by the Judicial Training Institute and also the National Identification Authority. The Chief Justice, Justice Enini Aboa, urged the newly appointed commissioners to guard against indiscipline and carry out their assigned duties legally.
As commissioners for oath, you will be overseeing the swearing of affidavits by persons who do not have the requisite documents to satisfy their status. This means that the integrity of this sensitive national exercise now lies, at least in part, in your hands. It would now be most important that you attend to this duty with the greatest of attention to the details and essence of the law, that guides your assignment. Be firm but fair, accommodating but faithful to the law, and above all, do not in any way compromise your training and integrity by allowing any infractions in any way whatsoever. You should not under any circumstances swear in anyone you've not seen or whose claims you cannot verify. The Republic in whose name you will be working requires accurate and reliable information, and your task is to make sure that this exercise provides such that.
Justice Enini Aboa said their appointment to the National Identification Authority is for a period of 6 months and subject to renewal upon satisfactory conduct as commissioners for oath.
The Tama Regional Fire Operational Officer, Mr. Abeka Blankson, says Tuesday's fire outbreak at a fuel tanker yard at Gbc Kokompe was caused by fuel transfer from one tanker to the other. Mr. Blankson said the fire service and the NPA are collaborating to streamline operations of the numerous tanker yards in the community, with some not having fire certificates. He had a chat with GBC News Tema correspondent Michael Dewonu.
In terms of investigations and update, what can you say about the fire outbreak at Gbc Kokompe?
Well, in terms of the investigation, I think yesterday we invited the owners of the tanker yard. So we met with them and we were trying to find out what they were really doing that brought about the fire outbreak. And they came out and said that they were transferring fuel from one tank to the other tank. So in the course of the transfer, because of the pumping machine that they were using, that ignited the fuel to bring about the fire.
Is the place certified? Do they have fire certificate to operate?
Well, the place is not certified. Because of that, we told them to start the process of certifying the place so that to make it safety in terms of their operations.
In terms of the losses, what can we say?
Well, there was not that much loss. The only loss that I would say is the fuel that burnt out. And I think yesterday too, we were privileged also to have the NPA coming to see us about the same fire. So in the discussion, we asked them to try to normalize the operations of those tanker yards in that area, because there are a lot of them that are in that area.
From what has happened now, what is the fire service going to do to make sure that each and every one of these yards are certified and are operating under the law?
I think most of the tanker yards that we've been going around, that's the fire stations, they have been going around educating them on their operations and how they have to go through in certifying those yachts. So it's a process that they are undertaking up to date.
Is there any punishment, any punitive measures that they are going to face?
Well, for now, it's MPA that has to deal with that because they have to certify them to operate. We also go in to make sure that they are abiding by the safety regulations of the service.
We will continue to bring you update here on GBC News. For GBC News, my name is Michael Dowan reporting.
About 700 refugees from 13 African nationalities who are currently at the Crescent camp near Elibo have received assorted items, including food and personal protective equipment (PPE) valued at 69,000 Ghana cedis. The benefactor is Passion for Needy, a humanitarian organization in Ghana.
Crescent is a small rural community about 48 kilometers from the Ghana-Côte d'Ivoire border town of Elibo. Items donated to the Crescent refugee camp included 333 bags of rice, 61 cartons of mackerel canned fish, 51 cartons of vegetable oil, 51 cartons of tomato puree, packs of water and soft drinks. The package also included 400 pieces of face mask, 320 bottles of hand sanitizer and some Veronica buckets, all valued at 69,000 Ghana cedis. Passion for Needy, which had shown similar love to the camp in the past, came again, this time to feed and protect them from the deadly COVID-19. The chairperson of Passion for Needy, Mrs. Janet Togbo El-Ashka, described the refugees as people who have been locked down by circumstances long before the emergence of COVID-19. She said they brought the items to prove to the refugees that God loves them. The manager of the Crescent refugee settlement, Mr. Banaman Martin, expressed gratitude. He called for support to complete a livelihood empowerment project that the camp has started to give permanent economic hope to the refugees. The Crescent refugee camp was established in 1997 at the height of the civil war in Liberia. A collaboration between the government of Ghana and the UNHCR has facilitated voluntary repatriation of many of the refugees. However, the camp currently holds about 700 refugees from various war-torn countries in Africa or countries plagued by political crises such as Togo, Uganda, Benin, Liberia, Eritrea, Sudan, the Central African Republic, Chad, and La Côte d'Ivoire.
The mortal remains of the late former acting director of television, Mr. Johnny Aite, has been interred at the Osu Cemetery in Accra. Mr. Johnny Aite passed on after a short illness. He was 61.
John Chamberlain Ni Awule Aite was born on 11th February 1959 in Accra. Affectionately called Papa Ni by family and Johnny by both young and old in the Inky fraternity, he joined the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation in 1983. Johnny rose through the ranks to the position of an acting director of television until his retirement on 11th February 2019. He had over 30 years experience in journalism. Tributes at his funeral spoke of a man who was full of life and a go-getter.
You had many outstanding qualities. Chief amongst these qualities was a purpose-driven man, a good steward of your finances, a visionary, a man of integrity. You were selfless, you were faithful, and above all, a man of prayer.
Johnny maintained the highest standards of journalistic integrity, performance, and dedication to his profession, while never taking his eyes off the importance of service to viewers. He staunchly supported the right of reporters to exercise their independent judgment on political and economic affairs.
In a sermon, a Reverend minister with the Action Chapel International, Spinters branch, where Johnny worshipped with his family, entreated all to live a life worthy of emulation.
There's a time to be born and there's a time to die. The years of a man are not controlled by the man. You may live 70, you may live 80, you may live to be 90, but then one day that life comes to a cessation, it comes to an end, and then a season of accountability is set in motion. Our brother, by God's grace, loved God. That's how it ought to end, actually, for every person on earth. A good ending.
Family, friends and loved ones bid farewell to Johnny as his mortal remains was lifted to be interred at a private ceremony at the Osu Cemetery. Some colleagues and friends shared fond memories.
My heart goes out to the wife, Susie, and to their little daughter. I pray that the Spirit and the grace of God gives her strength and the courage to take care of her own life and to take care of their little baby. I pray that she's consoled by the Spirit of the Lord.
Each time we were in the bus, either going home or coming to school, he'll be cracking jokes, saying all manner of things, and everybody will be laughing and and all that. It's an interesting character when you are with him.
Johnny was my course mate, and ever since we left school I've been to different places, but we have still maintained our closeness. Johnny, calm, soft-spoken, very strict, and a skilled journalist.
He left behind a wife and a daughter. Fare thee well, Johnny.
It's still news hour.
We take a quick breather and come back with the business news.
It's time for extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. Simply dial *111# to bundle now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying on. Government's quest to reduce the importation of rice by increasing the local production of rice under the Planting for Food and Jobs program has received a major boost. This is because the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has secured a total of 520 newly designed Cabrio compact tractor and global multi-purpose mini tractors to aid farming, especially rice farming in the country. At a demonstration exercise at Ewutu Camp Prison in the Central Region, the Director of Agricultural Engineering Services Directorate at the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. AKB Deyang, said the introduction of these tractors would bring about the increase in rice production in Ghana.
One of the leading import products by Ghana is rice. The country, as of 2018, had imported an estimated $1.6 billion of rice, making the grain product the largest contributor to the import quota at 82%. Importing rice into the country became necessary as it was evident that local producers could not keep up with growing demand for rice in Ghana. In 2017, when the government launched the Food Intervention Program, Planting for Food and Jobs, it made the local production of rice a flagship of the program, help industrial and economic transformation. In this regard, the Ministry of Agriculture signed a €10 million facility with the Czech Export Bank to help procure tractors from the Czech Republic to help local rice producers improve rice production.
Potted rice
to import machinery which the farmer can easily acquire and use for the farm operation, so that operation will be done on time. Since our farming is rain-based, we don't have irrigation systems all over the country.
The newly introduced Cabrio Compact and Global Multi-Purpose Mini Tractors have been designed to help rice producers harvest and thresh their produce with ease.
The Cabrio one, that's the red one over there. It has a tipping trailer, a rotary tiller, a mulcher, and 2 disc plow. And it is going for 125,000 Ghana cedis. We have the category 2, that's for rice, cultivation and harvesting. It's made up of compact 2, that's the green one, which has the PTO in front and the rear. Then I have the tipping trailer, a rotary tiller, rice cutter, rice thresher, a mulcher, and 2 disc plow. It's going for 150,000 Ghana cedis.
According to the Chief Executive Officer of NITES, Dr. Carl Lai, the technology is being practiced across sections of Europe, Central and Southern and West Africa.
We had an arrangement with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture where they had challenges in terms of harvesting rice and the threshing of the rice. And we went back to the drawing board, designed the rice cutting machine or the ripper, which is here as you can see, and the thresher. So a farmer doesn't need to wait for a big combine harvester to move from one farm to other before it gets to his farm. Once you're having the tractor, we've given you an accessory, which is what we designed. And I can tell you that what we designed, I don't know, I don't want to boast, but I haven't seen it any over here.
The chair of the Central Regional Apex Farmers Association, Mr. Samuel Anand, was happy government is giving farming the needed attention.
This machine is going to ease us to actually meet this rainfall and also ease the problem of post-harvesting. How am I saying this? After harvesting, if you look around the farms over here, we don't have any mechanization. We use our hands and other things to pick them. So, and after that, they have to carry them here and there. But this simple machines with trailer, it can move through the farm whilst the people also are picking and quickly dump them at the safer place within short period.
A team made up of technical experts from the Ministry of Agriculture and NITES will be traveling across the country to demonstrate to farmers how the equipment works. Analysts say if the momentum by government to scale up rice production is maintained for the next 3 years, Ghana will not only reduce the $1.6 billion imports bill, but also ease the pressure on the cedi.
In the next 1 year, Gbc municipality will get a cement factory. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Ishmael Ashite, has cut the sword for the commencement of a factory which falls under the government's One District, One Factory project. The project is being undertaken by Empire Cement Ghana Limited in partnership with Obokom Civil Engineering Limited at an estimated cost of $500 million.
According to the investors, the construction phase of the enterprise is expected to give employment to 13,000 people. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mr. Ishmael Ashite, said one of government's principal objectives is to provide employment for the youth through the 1D1F policy to get both international and local investors to add value to our local material. He called on the investors not to fail the government and the people of Gbc.
We are going to give about 13,000 direct employment to our youth. This is a huge number. I know you are going to employ unskilled labor. I don't see why you should go to my place like Tema to go and bring unskilled labor when you can get it around here. That is the way that you will have peace to do your work and stay here for a very long time.
The Wejagbawe Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Patrick Brakukumo, assured that the project is not going to impact negatively on the environment. He said all the necessary safety measures will be enforced so that the people of the area can go about their activities free from pollution. He encouraged the contractor working on the project to consider giving the youth of Wejagbawe priority in the recruitment drive, since the majority of them are unemployed.
This will also improve the socio-economic activity in the municipality, i.e. improving our revenues and also lifting the image of this municipality.
The Chief Executive Officer of Obokum Civil Engineering, Nana Obokumata, said as a corporate social enterprise, the company would construct an astroturf for the municipality to be used as training grounds for budding footballers in the area.
We have given ourselves within 3 months to fill the land, and within 1 year to finish the whole project as you see there. And we need everybody's assistance, because whatever we are going to do is going to benefit Weja, Lower Makati, Tetegbu, everywhere within the environment that the factory is going to be.
A Deputy Minister of Health, who is also a Member of Parliament for Wejagbawe, Mrs. Tina Gifty Mensah, expressed her gratitude to the investors, the chiefs and community leaders for their support for the project.
You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News, the News and Governance channel, and this is the business segment. Photographers and owners of some printing presses in Dunkwa Onofin in the Upper Dentra East municipality of the Central Region are lamenting low patronage of their services due to the outbreak of the COVID pandemic and subsequent restrictions on funerals and other public gatherings.
Under normal circumstance, when social events such as weddings and funerals, outdooring ceremonies among others are held, that is the time those into printing business make money. But with COVID-19 on the radar now, and with restrictions on social gathering, those in the printing on small scale at Denchura in the Central Region have had their business shuttered. Speaking to GBC News, Kwame Afwakwa, a photographer and a printer of funeral posters and wedding invitation cards, says since the president announced restrictions on public gatherings, patronage on his business has taken a nosedive, and it looks as if they open their shops for opening's sake. He said it is necessary to adhere to the health safety protocols to help contain the virus for businesses to bounce back.
This year, just a human any hokra, Nessa Swat, any hokra. Yenya wedding, yenya engagement, obi nye ye, and a party near dear Biancoso. And you know, the Casa Munya dear, a boy, Nanso. Dear, or my penny, she said, dear, or say, ye do sooner day, I'm Tony Ashum, dear brain.
Money Joshua, another printer of funeral posters and wedding invitation cards and a photographer at weddings, says he is also facing financial challenges due to the coronavirus pandemic. He said before the disease spread to Ghana, they received orders for printing on daily basis. During the weekends, they could attend 2 or 3 weddings and funerals to take photographs. But since the ban on social gathering, this has become a mirage. Printing press operators who spoke to GBC News said the situation has compelled them to ask some of their staff to stay at home.
The international segment is next.
Welcome back. Parts of Beijing have been placed under lockdown on Saturday as 6 new domestic coronavirus cases were reported, fueling fears of a resurgence in local transmission. people were prevented from leaving their homes at 11 residential estates in South Beijing's Fengtai district after most of the cases were linked to a nearby meat market. China's domestic outbreak had been brought largely under control through vast strict lockdowns that were imposed after the disease was first detected in the central city of Wuhan last year.
Mauritius has been cited as an example in the fight against COVID-19. The country has announced that effective June 15, virus lockdown will be completely lifted. The famous white sandy beaches and the blue lagoons are once again accessible to the public, but the borders remain closed. The country has so far recorded 337 cases and 10 deaths. 325 of the cases have recovered, with only 2 active cases. The island adopted very strict virus control measures since March 20. Mauritians could only leave their homes if they had an emergency. Going shopping was organized alphabetically by surnames. Tourism is a pillar of the economy, a sector adversely affected by the pandemic. No tourists have entered the country in recent months because of closed borders. Some hotels have been used as quarantine centers.
Burundi's top court has made a ruling aimed at ending the power vacuum created by the sudden death of President Pierre Nkurunziza on Monday. The Constitutional Court said that President-elect Evariste Ndayishimiye should be sworn in as soon as possible. Legally, the Speaker of Parliament, Pascal Nyabenda, should have become the interim leader, but the cabinet decided to refer to the court, and now Mr. Ndayishimiye is due to become president 2 months early. He was elected in May to replace President Nkurunziza, who had been in power for 15 years. After a change in the constitution, Mr. Nkurunziza has been able to run for a further term in last month's election, but decided to retire and was to be known as the Supreme Guide to Patriotism. The government said
of the Republic of Korea made the presentation in Accra as part of efforts to support the development of the sport during this coronavirus pandemic.
The presentation was made after the leadership of the Ghana Taekwondo Federation, GTF, met with officials of the Embassy of the Republic of Korea. The meeting centered on the effects of COVID-19 on the development of the sport in the country. The ambassador of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Kim Sung-soo, promised to support the federation, especially the national athletes, as they prepare for the Tokyo 2021 Olympics and Ghana's preparations to host the 2023 African Games. The meeting also touched on plans in place for hosting the yearly flagship championship, the Korean Ambassadors Taekwondo Cup. The 300 do box and 420 belts, according to officials of the Ghana Taekwondo Federation, will be presented to winners at upcoming championships.
The former head of athletics world governing body, the IAAF, Lamine Diack, told the French court he slowed the handling of Russian doping cases between 2013, 2011 and 13 for the financial health of the organization. The 86-year-old Senegalese